Yes, people. Welcome back to another episode of the Chelsea Ladies Show. And as you can see, I'm joined by two of our amazing regular panelists and a special guest. But before we get into that, let's cue the intro.
Don't know how I'm here, and it's you that I want and need. Feel your heartbeat. Feel somewhere you're looking now. Feel your heartbeat. Feel somewhere you're looking now.
Yes, people, welcome back to the Chelsea Ladies Show. As usual, we are joined by the lovely Charles and the lovely Joyce. Joyce, loving the braids, by the way. Amazing.
They look so fleeky, absolutely on point, like 100 out of 10.
And, guys, making her GNA TV debut, finally, after weeks and weeks of hounding. Please, come on, please. She's finally here, guys. Stephanie is in the building.
Thank you for having me on.
Welcome. And already, Stephanie, there's so much love in the chats for you already. There we go. Andrew, Crofty, CFC, Jordan.
Jordan.
There as well. Yes, there probably will be some simps in the comments tonight, as they usually are when we do this show. But ladies, how have we been this week? How's everyone been? Like, what's been going on? You know, in life and in football too.
I mean, some people's teams are actually through to the Champions League semi-finals. Some people actually know what Champions League is. Arsenal. Do you know what? I have to bring this up now. I dislike Arsenal with a passion. Arsenal decided they were going to have like a 1-1 draw at the Emirates. They went to Slavia Prague's home, busted open the door, and robbed them. They actually robbed them. Lacazette,
Wait for it, because we will get into that game. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll carry on just how my week's been then. Yeah, it's been a great week. I mean, I don't know what you guys' weather's like, but here we've had like 15, 16 degrees of sunshine, like pure sunshine. Like, I am loving life. I've been like sunbathing. Yeah, it's been fabulous.
Charles, catching that vitamin D. Joyce, how has your week been?
You know what? The streets opened April the 12th. They said, here's a little bit of freedom. And I took it with both hands. I've been out like every other day.
I see you, girl, on Instagram. I was just like, Joyce.
I've seen this. I like every post. I'm like,
I've gone out and got a manicure and a pedicure. That's the only thing I've done since everything's opened up. Like, honestly,
I'm living vicariously. I'm living vicariously through Joyce, because Wales haven't opened. We have no pubs open. We only have the only reason our shops are open is because we've got an election like next month, so they're like trying to bribe us. But we have no pubs open till the beginning of May. We have nothing. I'm living my life. We have no restaurants open. I'm living my life vicariously through Joyce's Instagram. I am literally like, Joyce is out in the pub, and I'm like, yes, Joyce. I'm like, I'm praying in my head, like, please let her have one for me. Like, just keep drinking. Just make sure that, like, she's drinking loads so that she knows that, like, I'm suffering here. And as for Lambs not going out for a drink, I'm stuck here with no pubs, no beer gardens, no restaurants. And you're sat there having a fab time getting your nails and toes done and not actually drinking. I'm like, I can't wait.
It's just, you know what? It's not the expected freedom that you have. Do you know what I mean? And still, like, everybody kind of has the same idea. Like, you still have to like pre-book and slots and stuff like that, isn't it, Joyce? It's
a beer garden that's open. You still have
to like queue up and wait for like people to leave, and then you have to come in. You still got it's still a bit like stiff, so you know, like
I don't care. You can still go in. It's a nice sunny day. it's a nice sunny day, and like you're not thinking about booking into that beer garden. Let me tell you, at the minute,
I can pour myself a glass of wine and just sit in my own garden, to be honest.
just to clarify, I plan on when this is opening, I'm literally going to go into the beer garden and I'm going to hand them my money and be like, take it. I'm just going to sit here and get drunk. You take my money. Thank you, Jordan. Yes. Someone gets my idea here.
Steph, how have you been? By the way, listen to Lewis. He's right. Smash the like button, guys, or we're going to Steph, how's your week been? And
I'm the same. I'm still in lockdown. We've been in lockdown since Christmas, and we're not opening things back up until July. So
July.
Yeah, in Ireland.
They're really strict.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so strict.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I feel better now that I'm living in Wales. You're making me feel much better about my life. So carry on. Tell me about your hardships. I'm quite happy here. Like
you're making the longest lockdown than any other country. We're still in lockdown.
When did you go into lockdown?
We went into lockdown like in 2020, and then we came out for 2 weeks for Christmas, then went straight back into it again. So we've been in it since Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, that's the same as us then. But we didn't get 2 weeks for Christmas. We got a day. We just got a day. We went in on the 16th, and we had a day for Christmas. The 25th was the only day we had, and then we have not. We're 6 weeks behind England.
Wow.
6 weeks.
Well, I guess now is not a great time for me to complain about living in the capital. It may be goddamn expensive, but at least they released us from jail early. Like, look at me and Joyce just sitting here smiling. And do you know what's crazy? I have not got my nails done in the salon since before the lockdown. So, oh my God, when I tell you, this woman spent 3 hours perfecting my nails, and I was like, honey, thank you. So, guys, without further ado, Charlotte's face.
I just want to be able to tap my nails. I literally just want to tap my nails. Like, I'm one of those people that you see in the office that's like tapping their nails, like typing really hard on the keyboard. Like, down.
Right. Well, let's get into the reason why we are. I saw why Steph waved there.
Sorry, had to do it.
I was just like, I love that. Absolutely love that. Look at this. Oh, you guys, man.
He can't.
Joyce playing. Joyce, man.
Oh, okay. He should, but he can't.
He's injured.
He's injured.
Well, oh yeah, that's true. Well, guys, let's get into why we are all here. So, to talk about what's been going on this week. So, of course, European football returned to our screens.
What's that?
Now we have. Well, elite European football. Let's talk about that first. You know,
I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah,
you have to put elite first. You have to put elite first, so I know what we're talking about here. I have standards, like Champions League standards.
I missed that, Joyce. I missed that. If you did,
I saw that. I saw that, Joyce.
So yeah, the elite competition. Champions League second leg, and of course we now have our Champions League semi-finalists. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of the games, and of course let's start on a positive note. Let's start with us first. Chelsea versus Porto. Now, I will probably call it a professional performance, probably not our best performance by a mile, but we did what we needed to do. Of course, conceding an almighty goal in the end, but didn't end up counting for anything. But let's review it. Let's break it down and get each and every one of you's thoughts on the game. Stephanie, as a welcome to the show, you get to go first. So, what did you think of the Chelsea Porto game? Who stood out to you? Did you think we played well? What do you think we could have done better? Give us your thoughts.
Well, we know who I'm going to say I think stood out. Jorginho.
Yep, that's
He
why
was amazing that game. Man of the match for me. He had an amazing first half. Kante didn't have as good of a first half. I didn't think he was better in the second half, definitely. But going forward, Kante makes life difficult for himself. I think he always chooses the wrong pass. But yeah, I think we did what we had to do. Reece James was also very good in Pulisic. Other than that, we didn't play that great. Obviously, that goal, there's nothing we can do about that goal. It was an amazing goal. But yeah, obviously happy we went through and we did what we had to do. So
amazing. Joyce, do you have anything to add to that about performance? Do you agree with Steph? Is Jorginho your man of the match, or would you go for somebody else?
I mean, I can't lie. That game was very, very dry. It was not the most exciting of performances, but we, like you said, we did what had to be done. We just needed to, we just need to get through, and we did what we had to do. We had our 2-goal cushion, and so that made things kind of easier. Attacking wise, we weren't at our best. But we didn't really need to be. Jorginho was fantastic, especially in that first half, like you said. I think Pulisic had a pretty good game because he ended up getting man of the match, didn't he? So he had some bright spells, especially like in the second half. I think he did quite well. But yeah, it wasn't a good. I think we got to kind of like the 80th minute, and I was like, because I could see everyone, I could hear because we had both screens on in my house, so I could hear the other games. So much exciting stuff going on over there. I really want to hear
So much better the other one. We will get to that one too. Don't worry.
But I think just generally, I'm just really impressed by the fact that our players just rode the storm. I think we just had to ride the storm of the game and just let Porto do their thing and just get through it, and we did. And especially when you look at how young our squad is, getting to a Champions League semi-final was just fantastic. No one would have thought at the beginning of the season that we were going to be in a semi. Never. I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the end, we got the job done. And Charlotte, I'm going to come to you. And just before I come to you, I'm going to put this comment up as well, because from CFC,
here we go again.
Slander. Go. Thoughts on the Chelsea Porto game? Obviously, we're through to the semi-finals, but we did lose on the night.
Yeah, I mean that goal was unstoppable. For me, if they're gonna get a goal in, at least be a goal like that, one that is actually a wonder goal rather than some basic bitch goal. I don't want that. At least it was a decent goal. I mean, Pulisic got man of the match. Fair play to him. If I was going to give anyone man of the match, it wouldn't be Jorginho. It'd be our defence. Our defence absolutely did a wonderful job of doing their job. Mendy made some incredible saves. Our defence did its job. They didn't. Yes, we had the slip up at the end, but there's nothing you can do. Just like Oblak.
Little tiny error as well, Mendy. That could have cost us, but thankfully the shot.
Jorginho blocked it.
You know what? Mendy redeemed himself with some fabulous saves. He done a great job, But Pulisic deserved man of the match. I mean, second half Jorginho was basic. I'm going to say it. Second half Jorginho was actually basic. I agree with Jem. I'm ready to sell Jorginho at the end of the season. He's not really doing much for me. He's just lagging the team behind. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm done with Jorginho.
Really?
Genuinely, I'm sorry. If we're looking at our midfield, I would rather find someone on Kante's level and bring them in. I don't want Jorginho. I'm sorry. You all are like, oh my God, he's had 11, 12 good games. Cool story. Come have a conversation with me when we've had a whole season and you're like, shit, he's so shit. He's not doing what I want.
Jorginho, Charles, sorry to cut you on off there. It's not even been a season. We've had like 3 years of this guy, and to be honest, under Tuchel is probably the best I've seen him perform. And even then, I still stand by what I've been saying for ages, 4 years. It's not consistent enough for me as well. I think that he will get, like, for me, he's so slow. It only works when he gets to dictate the tempo of the game, and when he doesn't, we've seen other midfields run us through, run us ragged. And for me, I feel like if we want to be like City, want to compete for Premier League titles, we need to be consistent. Want to compete across all four fronts like them, we need to be consistent. And I don't think Jorginho is that guy. I feel like no wonder Kante's so tired and he's getting all these injuries. Feels like he's just dragging the central defensive midfield by himself.
He has been.
But
He
yeah,
has
but
been
Kante's
literally. He's literally been. Kante has been holding our midfield for a while now, and when I'm not even playing here, he has. Like, Jorginho's decided to turn up now. We've got Tuchel. He's been under Sarri. He's been under Lampard. And you're telling me the man can't turn up? Like, pipe down. We've had him for long enough and he hasn't done anything. Like, you know what the problem is that he's going to have, like, this is the best form I've seen in Lambs is right, but he's going to have a good run of games and then all of a sudden he's going to die down again and I'm going to be like, I told you so, because this is what we expect. Like, you wonder why Kante's injured so much. He's been carrying the midfield. Where was Jorginho?
He's not been injured.
Where was Jorginho? That is not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is he's been carrying this midfield, but where's Jorginho's performances like under Tuchel, under Sarri, under Lampard? They were missing.
It hasn't been the right system for Jorginho.
I don't care. I'm sorry. My system does not rely. My system.
Wait. So wait, you said it's not the right system. So do you agree that Jorginho, he is basically...
Yeah, he's just system player. Yeah, of course. But in the right system...
But I don't use my midfield relying on him.
Hold on, Charles. So we've had, since Jorginho's come in, we've had 3 different managers, right? So he's had 3 different managers. And in all of them, he's shown the same, like, glimpses, like a couple of good games in a run of, like, great passing ability, dictating tempo of the midfield, springing these amazing passes here, left, right, and centre. But under all of those, there's games where he's just been sussed and caught out. And when he's been caught out, he just doesn't know what to do. He's literally just in no man's land. So can you agree that he's had the chance to adapt to 3 different systems and it still not works because he's still not been able to be consistent, even though I feel like Tuchel has probably, we've seen him at his best maybe under Tuchel, but still not good enough in the long run. Would you agree or not?
I think, like, he had a bad game against West Brom when we lost 5-2 and everyone was on it. He's that's him, his purple patch is over, he's back to the real Jorginho. And the 2 games after that, he's been brilliant. So I don't think that is the case. Like, when he's in the right system, everyone can have a bad game. But people love to hate Jorginho. I've never seen a player more hated in our fan base than him.
Would you
I
keep
could probably name a few.
Would you keep him or sell him
No.
in the season, Steph?
Well, obviously I would keep him, but I think if we go back to a back 4 next season, I don't know, because him and Kovacic, obviously, you need a DM if you're going into a 4-man defense. So I think it'll be different. But if we stick to 3-4-3, then yeah, I don't see why he can't stay.
But just to clarify something, you said that he has like a style of play that hasn't. We haven't found a style of play that suits him yet. He has a style of play that needs to fit him. I'm sorry, I'm not relying on him. I don't need to rely on him. I'll sell him and find someone better. That's not hard for me to do. Jorginho should be adapting. He should be capable of adapting. And if he's not capable of adapting, I don't want that kind of player in my team, because I need a player that is capable of adapting. Just like, and I'm going to drop another bomb here because I know Lewis is in the chat, just like Christensen. Christensen can only play in a back 3. In a back 2 and a back 4, he can't play in it. So, you know, there's 2 players that I've already named that I'm ready to get rid of.
I love it. Charlotte is not packing any punches. Like, she even, like, there was at one point Charlotte unveiled a list of about 9 players who she wanted to see gone. But Charlotte, wait till the end of the season because we need to review that list again. I want to see.
It's only down to 5.
they're gonna go.
It's only down to 5 now. It's literally only, hold on, Christensen, Jorginho, Alonso, Emerson, Abraham. Yeah, just 5.
Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't argue with those. But moving on to the other, probably arguably much more interesting game that was also happening that evening. Of course, I'm talking about, listen, ads, just listen, okay? Just you focus on Roma, okay?
Just to clarify, you United fans are coming up like 21's happening again. Like, why don't you
21 in it, be quiet, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what they keep saying.
PSG and Bayern Munich, of course, the first leg was an absolute thriller, 3-2. Possibly could have been more if Bayern had taken some of their chances as well, but this one did not disappoint. Bayern still coming with some of the chances, but again, not being clinical enough. You could argue that Lewandowski's goal contributions were sorely missed in this, but Neymar just having chances left, right, and center, and definitely could have sealed this and made this tie a lot less nervy for PSG. Steph, I'm going to come to you first. Thoughts on that game? I mean, even though there was only one goal, could have been much more in that second leg.
I didn't even watch the game because I was watching Chelsea, but I know Neymar got man of the match. And I heard he shouldn't have even got man of the match. I don't think he could have scored a lot more. I thought PSG would go through anyways. So I don't know. I always said at the start, it's kind of written in the stars for a PSG Chelsea final with like Tuchel's old club. So you never know, could see that happening.
I honestly think it's written in the stars. Do you honestly think Tuchel has the minerals to do what it takes to beat his former club? Because he must know them so well. So he must beat them.
If anyone knows them, it's him. But then it's also like PSG will have that, we've got to a second final, we can't lose this one either. So I don't know, it really will be a tough game, but I definitely think he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, Joyce, I know you said you had one ear, one eye. Probably
I had 2 screens, and I was like, got to focus on Chelsea. This is my team. And I just kept going a little bit like, ooh, because it was just. I obviously didn't have my eye on it for the entire time, but like just Neymar is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I think people kind of like brandishing around the sofa score that you only got 5.9 and that kind of thing. And it's just like, this is why sometimes like deriving everything from statistics is kind of unfair, because he was everywhere. He was doing everything. He had so many chances. Yes, like, he hit the post and the crossbar. So he was unlucky to have not scored, but I just think he was absolutely great. I think on the other side, what's it called? The Bayern defender, what's his name? Lucas Hernandez. Ridiculous. He is ridiculous.
Fantastic game. Wow.
Like, because I don't watch the German league like too tough, so I think most of the time when I see Bayern, it's in like the big competitions, and I just thought like he in that one game especially, he was just madness, dodging that.
In the fact that you guys said Chelsea. Do you know what? Mathematically, it's still possible because we're 9 points behind you. That's 3 games. You bowl 3 games, we win 3 games, and with
whoa.
Just to clarify,
can we just?
I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm saying it's still mathematically possible.
We're not doing you guys, okay? If you guys are gonna be dragged down, I'm not being dragged down with the rest of you.
just to clarify something, you have some home games, and Man U, if I remember correctly by the statistics, are shite at home compared to away. At away, you're absolutely unstoppable, but at home, you have to play Liverpool at home. So why don't you have a conversation with me once you've played your home games, and that's cool. But we aren't that far behind you. You're acting like we're like 20 points behind you. You're acting like we're 20 points behind you. Why don't you worry about chasing Man City? Because apparently 21's still coming again. Nah, ain't got time for that.
Yeah, innit? Come the summertime, Joyce.
Yes.
I mean, it's one of those things that you never know. Like, if Bayern had all their players fit, then maybe it would have been a different story. But like, you play with the players that you have. Ultimately, PSG went through. I think the semi-final that we've got like coming up, or the semi-finals that we've got, is like a really great. It's like a nice mix. You got players like teams that really, really desperately need the Champions League. Like, they need their first on the other side, and you got Real Madrid, who are like European like juggernauts, and then you've got us just like, hey, we're here too. And yeah, I'm just really excited for this semi-final coming up. But obviously, like I said, I didn't watch too much of the other game. But Neymar's probably the best player in the world right now, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, Charles, would you agree? Personally, I think some of those misses, yeah, I was just like, rah, Neymar taking the heat off of Werner this week, because don't tell me like good players can't miss sitters, because they can.
I mean, just to let you know that actually Spurs are now 1-0 up against Everton. Neymar had a bad game, but the difference is that in the first leg of PSG Bayern Munich, Neymar has an absolute masterclass. He was the creative mastermind behind these goals. He was in there everywhere, being what he does best. Neymar was absolutely on form in the first leg. Second leg, he had a few misses, but Bayern Munich also had chances to take ahead, and they didn't. They had misses too. I think it's interesting because the first leg was completely different to the second leg for me. The first leg was, I'm not saying the second leg was bad, but the first leg was actually the goals were going on target. They were getting goals, and it was more a little bit, I feel like it was a bit faster paced and a little bit more upbeat. I feel like the second leg was more about defending and trying to get that final goal to nail the coffin in from Neymar's side. He had a bad game, but he doesn't do a Werner. He doesn't have a bad game every game, and he actually gets goals, something Werner does not do. I enjoyed the buying PSG game. I really did. It was more interesting for me than Chelsea Porto game, especially when they got that. Literally, especially when they got that Bayern got that second goal, I was like, oh my god! I was like, damn, like this is bad. Like, I was like, is there going to be another goal? Is it going to be 3-3? But if we look at it, the only reason PSG got through was an away goals. Wasn't actually that they scored more goals. Genuinely, they scored the same amount of goals. PSG scored the same amount of goals, which is Poch bottling it, because he had the same amount of goals, but Bayern Munich have the shittest defence. Their defence is okay, not the greatest. And they had Lewandowski out, and they still couldn't. Oh, penalty to Everton. They still couldn't. They actually still couldn't beat them. You know what I mean? Like, when you've got your striker and Bayern Munich's best striker out, and their defence isn't the best defence, I'll give them that. It's not like a defence that's like a solid brick. It's like a brick wall that's got bricks that you can kick through and like sneak through the wall. That's kind of what it's like. And I enjoyed the game, to be honest. I'm not even playing. I really enjoyed that game. I was like, this Chelsea game is not like the Chelsea game was just defensive. This game was a defensive, but trying to get that goal. So it was a little bit more those spur of the moment kind of things. And I really enjoy that. And to be fair, I just really enjoy watching Mbappe and Neymar work together. It's one of my favorite pairings at the minute. And they just work so, it's like they were brothers from like another mother, I swear. Like, they are related. They're twins. They are twins. They have the same brain. They're like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. It's like they can read each other's minds. I'm like, how'd you do that? But no, like Neymar and Mbappe, like they literally are my favorite pairing right now. It's just a beaut to watch. I think over the last two legs, Neymar was better than Mbappe. I know that's a little controversial, but I feel like Mbappe gets the most credit because he gets the goals. But if you look behind the scenes, like before the goal, Who's there? Neymar.
Mm.
Who's creating that? Neymar.
Well, it does look like he may possibly be on his way out of the club soon. We will see. But moving on to the other quarterfinal clash, and that was between Borussia Dortmund and Manchester City. Phil Foden, again, the star of the night, shining through, even going as far as to tell Kylian Mbappe to come outside. But also, big up to Jude Bellingham, the star of the show for Dortmund, really stepping up with that beautiful goal as well, getting them back into the tie. It's just a shame that the rest of the team just didn't seem to have the minerals as well, didn't really seem to have any creativity coming forward to create those chances. And in the end, a solid, comfortable, professional performance from City. Steph, what were your thoughts on the game and City versus PSG in the semi-finals? El Clasico.
Well, I mostly watched the match because I wanted to watch Haaland. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I wanted to see what he was going to be like against them. Obviously, there's rumors that he could go to Man City potentially. But as you said, Bellingham was the standout, and even in the first leg, he got the goal that should have been allowed, that was wrongfully disallowed. So I don't know. I think after watching it, especially, it makes me more not want Haaland at Chelsea. I just don't think he's worth that money. Like, it's the same type of thing where he needs to, like, without Sancho, he's not scoring. And we don't have a player that's like that, that's going to feed the ball to him like constantly. So I don't think Haaland is good for us anyways. I don't think he really had a great night either. But obviously, yeah, Man City did what they had to do. I think PSG could beat them. They haven't really, like, they only scraped a win in the first leg. So yeah, I think PSG could win it, and I think PSG will get to the final.
Joyce, do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on the game and the impending semi-final clash between these two?
Do you know what? Yeah, I kind of felt bad for Dortmund a little bit, just because obviously, like, the decision to have that, I mean, initial goal in the first leg, like, ruled out, I guess, made the tie a little bit different. It switched up the tie like a lot more. Like, going in 2-2 changes, I guess, how they set up this game. And once Emre Can, I don't know what he was. I don't know what happened there. It's like he kind of hit his head. He was stretched out, like, as unfortunate. But it's just one of those things that became a much more difficult game for Dortmund. Like, they would have had to score 2 more goals, and then obviously Phil Foden comes in, Starboy snatches the moment. I thought it was quite interesting that Sterling. It was like a crunch game for Man City, and Sterling wasn't involved. Like, he came out and did a bleep test like at 89th minute or something. I don't, maybe that there's nothing to take from it because Pep likes to rotate his squads anyway, but it's just interesting that, like, one of the biggest games of the season for Man City gets dropped. And I don't know, I'm just starting to think about, like, oh, what happens for him, and I think for England and all that kind of, or maybe there's a case for other players to kind of get more game time aside from him. Bellingham, like you guys were saying, he was fantastic. I feel like he came for revenge. Unfortunately, he didn't quite get it, but I think he really came and he really wanted to put a stamp on this game because he was everywhere. He was making defensive challenges on the other side. He's scoring goals. He was just, like, I don't know, it felt like a revenge tour, and I was really impressed with him, and the maturity level at which he played was just fantastic. So it's just, I don't know, it's just exciting to see, like, what he can do and will do in the future, because he is only, like, he's what, 17?
17.
So that was really impressive. Ultimately, I think City should be winning that tie anyway because they're the better team, but it just wasn't as comfortable in the end, I think, for City. But they did what they had to do. They've won the tie. Gonna go off to PSG. I still think PSG are kind of the favourites in that tie, but I don't know. These are both kind of serial bottlers, like between the two of them, like in the Champions League. So it's going to be interesting to see both how they set up and who comes out on top. I don't know.
I love when you said serial butlers. That's a
No,
good
like
way.
both of them, like they've been gagging for the Champions League for God knows how long, and it always. I mean, PSG last year kind of not unlucky, but they just weren't the better team. But every year, like that's the thing that they're going for because they know that they're going to walk the league. Man City have won like 3 of the last 4 Premier Leagues or something like that. But when it comes to the Champions League, they always get unstuck. So it'll be interesting out of those two that one of them will definitely make the final. So yeah.
Interesting. Charlotte, over to you. City, Dortmund, City getting the job done, but like Steph, like Joyce said, they didn't make it easy for themselves. And, credits also, big shout outs to Jude Bellingham, fearless kids. Yeah.
I mean, technically on the night, was it finished 4-2, didn't it? 4-2? It should have actually finished 2-2. I know, I'm controversial.
4-3. 4-3.
4-2. Because Jude Bellingham because remember they got 1 in each leg, so it's 4-2.
All right.
Firstly, Edison deserves a Kids' Choice Nickelodeon Award and then deserves to be slimed. Because let me tell you, I am fuming with that man. That man is a grown-ass man. He's experienced in his job, and he touched Jude Bellingham, and Jude Bellingham is a 17-year-old, still goes for the goal. The referee didn't help. I don't know what the referee needs. He needs to have laser eye surgery to get his eyes tested, because I'm telling you now, man, the man was absolutely ridiculous. How you're blowing that? Then they got a penalty. It wasn't a penalty. It touched your head before it touched your shoulder. It's not a penalty. Rude ass. So it should have been 2-2. So yeah, I'm not really too happy about that. Jude Bellingham, man. I told you, Jude Bellingham was going to get a goal. He was going to get revenge for Edison. And he got his revenge. Is a goal Edison should have saved, but didn't. Oh, it's such a shame he didn't save that. Such a shame. Jude Bellingham, 17 years old, outshining nearly all of Man City. I didn't even recognise anybody else. I was just too busy watching Jude Bellingham, a 17-year-old boy, from a championship team, from a championship side, now playing in Dortmund, absolutely owning Man City. What more can you want? The man's getting goals against Man City in the Champions League. Like, good on him. He was absolutely incredible. Phil Foden's goal and Jude Bellingham's goal were the only ones that should have stunned in this leg. I don't think it was a penalty. I'm very controversial, but I don't think it was. Just like I don't think the referee should have blown the whistle in the first leg because Edison's a pussy. But, these are just my personal opinions. Maybe someone should tell Edison that when you kick someone, it's your fault and that you don't have to be dramatic AF to win a Nickelodeon Choice Award and then get slimed because you're getting slimed because you're a snake. But, these are just my personal opinions. Overall, Phil Foden really did. That was a beautiful goal from Phil Foden. I mean, I think it was a good game. Unfortunately, the youngsters shone out. Who like Phil Foden, youngster. Jude Bellingham, youngster. I mean, Haaland didn't really shine for me, to be honest. I'm going to be very controversial, like I always am. I don't want Haaland at Chelsea. I've said this for so long. I want Harry Kane. But,
Hey, Foden telling Mbappe to come outside.
Do you know what? I want to talk about this now. I want to talk about this. Now I've remembered this. I want to talk about this. So firstly, Phil Foden approved this tweet. His social media company posted it, and then he sacked them because of the backlash. You're nothing special. Pipe down. You're firing your media company because you approved something. Like, I'm sorry.
He got scared.
I'm telling you now, if I was Foden, I'd be petrified of what's coming. Because let me tell you, Diaz, Cancelo, Stones, they ain't stopping Neymar and Mbappe. If you think that, no, I'm sorry. And now that Foden's called out Mbappe, Mbappe's going to get a hat trick. He's going to get a hat trick, and he's going to absolutely Mbappe against Edison. There's no comparison. Edison, if I were you, I'd just run. I'd actually just run because Edison's gonna, Mbappe's gonna whack the ball so hard just to prove a point. And I mean, you know what? When Foden's done what Mbappe's done, he can have a conversation and he can be Billy Big Bollocks, but he hasn't. So there's a difference between Mbappe and Foden and this level they play at. Mbappe's won a World Cup. Phil Foden hasn't. So, I just think that like it was a silly mistake, especially if you're going to back up and fire people over it because you made a mistake. Like that to me is just petty. Just own you had a mistake. People will get it. Like people will get it. Like own your shit. But I just want Mbappe to absolutely own Man City. Because Phil Foden has a chance to prove himself now he said that tweet. So if he doesn't turn up in the first leg, the amount of shit that's coming his way.
Mate, I hear you.
The tweet was that
Before
deep.
we go, sorry, what did you say, Joyce?
No, I just didn't think the tweet was that deep in the first
It
place.
wasn't. It wasn't that deep until he sacked the social media team this morning.
He got scared.
That's the only issue I have. That's literally the only issue I have is the fact that just own your shit and be like, it was banter.
It's
but
okay.
now,
He was probably drinking when it happened. But moving on to the final game of the Champions League. And of course, that meant Liverpool hosting Real Madrid for the second leg and failing to score the barrage of chances that came their way.
139.
And that, of course, means that we will be facing Real Madrid in the semi-final. It will be an Eden Hazard reunion. It will indeed be an
Eden Hazard is not fit. He's not fit.
Huh?
Eden Hazard is not fit. As far as I'm concerned, the rumor is.
I've heard. Maybe we'll confirm that because I mean the tie isn't even until like.
Yeah. The only rumor I've heard is the next injury Eden Hazard gets, well, his career's done. Real Madrid are done with him if he gets another injury. So if I was Real Madrid, personally, I wouldn't be playing him in a match when you know that Chelsea are going to target Eden Hazard, and that's what I'd be doing.
Interesting, but anyway, we're gonna face Real Madrid, and even without Eden Hazard, they did a good enough job when it came to Liverpool. Anyway, so Steph, thoughts on that game? Liverpool failing to capitalize on their chances, meaning that we will be facing Real Madrid in the next round.
Yeah.
Tuchel obviously has a great record against Spanish teams as well, and yeah, it should be an interesting tie. Thoughts on the game, but before that, guys, there's over 30 of you here, so please smash a like, subscribe if you're new, share the stream. Steph,
I don't know. Like I would have rather play Liverpool than Real Madrid because I just think Real Madrid's midfield is so good, and on the night, like Real Madrid only need one chance. Give them one chance and they'll score. Liverpool haven't been that great recently. Like, I'm not surprised they didn't come back because they're not the team that they were before. Like, they looked good in the first few minutes, definitely. I was kind of thinking, oh, this looks like a comeback type of game, and then it just went completely dead. It was so boring. So, yeah, I don't know. Because they will have Varane and Ramos out. Obviously, that's a bonus. But I still think people are underestimating Real Madrid a lot. Like, it's going to be a really tough game.
yeah, it is going to be. I mean, they've got Champions League pedigree. People are forgetting this. You don't win 13 Champions League. You don't win 13 Champions Leagues for nothing. Joyce, thoughts?
Well, I feel like the Liverpool game was over when they didn't concede and they didn't score in the first half because they came out on smoke. They actually started very, very well. And I think, like Salah missed like a few chances, like Mane, like they had the chances. They can't say that they didn't get a sniff like inside like Real Madrid's half. Like they were really on it. But with Klopp teams and the amount of like the waves of like the press and the pressure that they put on these teams, they can't sustain it for too long. So it has to be like they have to make it worth it. So if because they kind of lost that energy after like maybe like the 60th minute. But if they had scored a goal or two, or they had scored an early goal, it would have been worth it. But it just kind of got to like the 60th minute, and they were slower. They were not like tracking their men. Like the chances just weren't coming anymore, and you just kind of know that the comeback wasn't coming. And I don't know, Real Madrid, they're multiple champions, I think, for a reason, and I think Zidane should get a lot of credit. Because even myself, like I was like, he just happens to be a manager that has really, really good players, and he's doing the thing. But he's won a treble with them. I know that Barca are falling off, but like he's won not a treble, but back to back to back. He's won. I can't speak English. He's won hella Champions Leagues with this team. They've won the league. They could win the league again because the thing is like the La Liga is like really tight. And he's managing to continue to transform the team. And even with both their best centre-backs out, I can't pronounce his name, Militao. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong, wherever you are. He was absolutely fantastic. He was really, really great in that game. And especially like the fact that Liverpool fans were kind of hanging their hopes a little bit on the fact that their they were saying their midfield is overrated, which it isn't, and that their centre-backs are out, so they're going to be able to absolutely spin them. They didn't. And I think it was a very seasoned championship performance from a very seasoned professional top club. And to me, it's just great that, the Champions of England season is over in mid-April. So, I mean, I kind of, like Steph, I think I said on the stream before, I did want to play Liverpool, only because I thought it'd be a nice, throwback to the noughties when we would play them like every other season in the Champions League. But yeah, we got a big test coming up.
Indeed, Charles. I mean, I know you were so happy with Liverpool bottle it the way they did, and you are here for it. And of course, that means we are facing Real Madrid semi-finals. Do you agree with Steph? Do you agree with Joyce? Should we underestimate them? Should we not? How about it?
I mean, I'm happy we got Real Madrid. I wanted Real Madrid anyway. I didn't want Liverpool. We've beaten Liverpool before. We've done it on plenty of times that we beat Liverpool a couple of months ago. Like we only beat them 2-0 at Anfield. For me, if Real Madrid hadn't beaten Liverpool, I would have been embarrassed if I was Liverpool, if I was Real Madrid and I was losing to Liverpool. Like, Liverpool aren't that special. I don't know why we're all bigging up Real Madrid. They was playing Liverpool. Probably, if we're looking in the quarterfinals, one of the worst teams in the quarterfinals. I'm not being a dick here. It's just proven. They're not going to have any trophies this season, and they're joining the Europa Conference League next season. So, if I'm being realistic, like, Real Madrid should be beating Liverpool. Like, if they weren't, that would have been an embarrassment to them. Liverpool were dead. They were dead. They were shit. They were dead. There's a few words that I can think of Liverpool. The problem I have is that, like, you still have Salah and Mane. You still have a good team. It's not like Liverpool have a shit team, and I've said this so many times. Just because you have injuries, it's not an excuse to perform badly. Like, Real Madrid were the better team. Vinicius Jr. obviously heard people slagging him off, being like, yeah, Vinicius Jr. is not that good. He blatantly turned up in the first leg like, hi, I'm here with my 2 goals. Thank you. Yeah, Liverpool had like something stupid, like, I think it was like 139 chances. No, sorry. Chances created were 139. And I'm like, and they had 4 on target. 4 on target. Just want you to settle that in there. That they had a ridiculous amount of chances and absolutely none of them were taken. Real Madrid had some crazy chances that I don't get how didn't go in. But it is what it is. They lost. That's a shame. Are we capable of beating Real Madrid? Absolutely. I want Real Madrid, to be honest. I I want a team that we haven't beaten yet. Like we haven't like people have said Real Madrid have won the Champions League a few too many times for a reason. Let's beat them and then get to the final. Simple as that. And Lewis, you're right. Eden Hazard is about to get inducted. I don't like Ant Christensen as much, but let me tell you, Eden Hazard's about to get inducted right into there.
I absolutely love to see it. So moving on from Champions League eliteness, so European eliteness to European, yeah, I don't know, the second class citizens maybe. Of course, I'm talking about the Europa League.
What's that?
Yeah, it's where we send the rejects, Charles. So
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know what that is. I wouldn't know that is, to be honest.
talking of rejects, Arsenal and Manchester United still alive in the competition, successfully both easing past their quarterfinal rounds against Granada and Slavia Prague. But of course, Arsenal, with everything going on in the news, and we will touch on that shortly afterwards before we preview the City game and finish up. Arsenal facing Slavia Prague, a team who were in the news for a lot of racism and controversy on their part. So for yesterday's game, not just Arsenal fans, but everybody, the whole world of football, yeah, the whole world who was against racism was an Arsenal fan yesterday. And my word, did they respond in emphatic style. I think this is probably the best performance I've seen from Arsenal this season. So I guess all they need to do is just give their team some incentive like that, and we'll see performances like that. But my words, absolutely silence Slavia Prague. And just to say, all black players on the score sheet for Arsenal as well. So symbolic, fate, I don't know. I do not know. Steph, what did you think of Arsenal's performance? And of course, that means they will be reunited with Mr. Good Evening in the next round. Mr.
Good
Una,
evening.
thoughts?
I can't lie. I never watched the Europa League matches. I just
That's how little Steph rates Arsenal. So take that, Arsenal. But yeah, what do you think of Arsenal coming up against Villarreal in the semi-finals anyway?
yeah, I don't know. I think Villarreal could do it. Like Arsenal, I could see a Villarreal Roma final, if I'm being honest. Because I think Man United definitely, they could, their history with semi-finals. But I think Arsenal, it's going to be a tough game for them. And obviously with their being their old manager, I definitely think Villarreal could do a job.
Interesting. I mean, she's not wrong there, Joyce. Unai does have that Europa League pedigree, the same way Real Madrid have their Champions League pedigree. Thoughts?
I mean, that Europa League pedigree didn't do much good for him in the 2019 final, so I don't know. But I'm like, Steph, I don't do Thursday night football. I'm so sorry. Like, it's like people have jobs, people have time. I'm not gonna sit shout out Arsenal, congratulations, you beat the racists. You should have beaten them because you have a good team. You are a Premier League. You're a Premier League team with good players. You should be in this part. You should be this deep into the competition, frankly. So I'm not gonna applaud them for doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's their only way of getting back into Europe realistically. So they really, take the competition seriously. So, I'm glad that they did for them. But yeah, I just, and even obviously the thing that annoyed me, if we're going to talk about this game, and we kind of talked about the racism thing, I just thought it was absolutely insane that the Slavia Prague player only got 10-game ban for racism. And then Kamara gets a 3-game ban for violence. And it's like, should we not be punching up all the racists? I personally,
I think, I don't know. Was he
I
expecting to
just
hurt him? I don't know. I don't
I
know,
just
Joy.
thought it was. I just think it's absolutely mad, and it's just very clear that UEFA does not take racism seriously enough. These football for all this, like United we stand and we're kneeling and we're marching and we're putting up placards and all of this stuff. If these big organizations do not take racism seriously and give people repercussions, serious repercussions, people are getting longer bans for betting and for biting. I mean, Suarez was also a massive raging racist, but you know, like I just think it's absolutely ridiculous, and it just showed to me that like they don't really care, and they're going to continue to not care really, and that was really frustrating. But obviously, like, you know, they ended up kneeling at the end, you know, when after Arsenal like spun their socks. So I'm waiting for these football organizations to really put their money where their mouth is and give people strict and give people fines, ban people, remove people from competitions, do what you have to do, because people only listen to real threats. People continue to do whatever the hell that they want to do if they feel like they can get off lightly. He's going to sit there for 10 games, still get paid, run around, play like the football manager for 10 weeks, then come back and do whatever. There's no consequence. Like, I don't know. I just think, do something, please. If anyone from UEFA is watching this stream, I don't know, need to start taking racism more seriously. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But do you know what? I might even like tag them in it, like when I post this up on socials afterwards. But Charles, yeah, thoughts on the game. Obviously, you know, you can talk about the racism associated with it as well, what that meant. But you can also talk about the game, meaning that they're also facing Unai Emery in the semi-final as well. Yeah, thoughts on everything overall, from the racism, from the taking the knee, to absolutely getting cammed, to going through against Villarreal, to, like Joyce said, UEFA's ruling on the 10-match ban, on the 3-match ban.
I mean, he got the minimum. 10 games is the minimum for racism. The minimum. The minimum. They gave him the minimum ban. Have they taken away his pay? No. Has it done anything to him? No. He's just missing 10 games. Like, are you taking the piss? You're not treating everybody as equals, and you're not getting fined for that. That was Kamara. I would have whooped his ass too. I'm sorry. I'd take that. I'm sorry. How's the victim in this getting a ban? I'm so confused right now. You know what? Arsenal, they were like, we'll let them get a goal, think they're like in control. They took them to their yard. They knelt on their knee to show Black Lives Matter. And what did Slavia Prague do? Just stand there holding each other. Who the fuck are you? Like, pipe down. You should be standing, getting on your knees and saying, we support you. Like, we are with you. We don't tolerate racism. But they didn't. And they played a game and they got their ass whooped. Arsenal entered their house and robbed them. And I was so happy to see Saka score, Lacazette score. Like, it was a beauty. The Pepe scored. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. Like, don't piss off like a community. Like, everybody's fucking equal. Like, pipe down. And as for the fact that, you know what, this really annoys me, because this is I don't want to come across as a dickhead, but this is never going to change until Twitter and Instagram take accountability and ban people. Or when you create an account, you have to give someone your NHS number, or like your social security number, or like a passport photo. It's no one's ever going to be held accountable. As for the Football Association, who the fuck are you? A bunch of white people who don't understand what's going on. You're sat at your desks, like, not doing anything because you just want more money. It's all about the money and not about the fact that people are being affected on a daily basis. People are struggling every day. There's reasons for these protests. Have you not seen what's going on in America? Like, how do you mistake a taser? How do you mistake a taser for a gun?
Just to cut in, especially on what you're talking about, Charlotte, this comment over here saying Trippier got a 10-week ban because of betting, but that Slavia Prague player got 10 games for racism.
Literally.
So to basically say what betting is more serious than racial abuse and hate. So
Exactly.
again, I understand like your outrage, Joyce's outrage earlier, because it's just very, very...
It's not okay. Like, we're living in a world where, as far as I'm concerned, and I think there's a lot of people that are on the same wavelength, everybody should be equal. I don't care who, what, when, where, why. Couldn't care if you want to associate yourself as an alien. Really couldn't give a shit. Long as you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. But the fact is that money is coming in, is more important than actually dealing with racism, which is absolutely heartbreaking. You know, it's really sad to see that in this day and age, you're having to deal with, like, people are having to deal with this. Like, the fact that in America, I'm sorry, how do you mistake a bright yellow taser for a gun?
They don't, Shah. It's basically it's the incentive that if charges are pressed, they can use, because for them, if they feel threatened, they can say they acted because they felt threatened. They thought something was that, so they're establishing the threat. They're establishing. So
but it's so heartbreaking for me. It really is heartbreaking that situations like this are happening, and especially it's happening in football like on a daily basis now. It's actually happening in football on a daily basis. Look at Gini Wijnaldum. People were posting monkey emojis on his Instagram. What did Instagram do? Nothing.
exactly.
What have Twitter done when shit's happened? Nothing. And do you know why? Because they care about their money more than they do anyone else's feelings. Like, it's just disgusting. It really... This is a situation that makes my blood boil, because I don't tolerate this shit. I think everyone around me who knows me knows I don't tolerate this shit, and that I accept anybody for anybody. As long as you're nice to me, I'm absolutely going to be nice to you. Like, I just... Like, this has gone too far. Like, this racism in football has gone too far. Like, it's not okay anymore. Like, when's someone going to be like, actually, this isn't right? Like, why are we allowing this? Like,
this is why, and we were speaking about it, me, Nordine, and Aaron, and Flawless on Aaron's channel earlier, about how you just need to just keep on making people feel uncomfortable. Like, there was that clip that was circulating about the guy, the white guy basically telling this kid, like, go and get your people and whatever, and they came, got their people, and they just camped outside his house, just making them uncomfortable, just not even being violent, aggressive, nothing at all, just chilling.
Was that the army sergeant? Was that the army sergeant who literally the army sergeant, the one where the army sergeant, he literally pushed him, shoved him, and slapped him, all because he was... he was walking through his house, and then they camped outside his house to make him feel uncomfortable.
Yes, I think so. That's the one. Yeah,
he's a Fort Lauderdale sergeant. Because if I was in America, I'd feel safe with people like that.
I mean, listen, I thought that was such a great response. But before we wrap up this show, guys, let's quickly preview the Chelsea City game together. So I'm going to go around each and every one of you. Who comes in for you? Who drops out for this game? And your score predictions. And then we will get out of here. Steph, the lovely Steph, coming to you first.
I think Werner will start, because against Man City's high line, I think he will be good. Either Werner comes in, or it's going to be the exact same front three as Porto, in my opinion. I think Pulisic has to start this game. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I do want to see more of him, but I don't see Tuchel dropping Mount either. So I think it will either be the same front three as Porto, or he'll bring in Werner. I think well, we have no choice but Kante and Jorginho because Kovacic is injured, and so is Christensen. So I think everything else will stay the same. I think it will just be the front three that could rotate, but yeah, that's what I think the lineup should be.
And your score prediction for the game?
I'm gonna say 2-1 to us because I think Man City will definitely score, but I'm just hoping that we score more.
Oh, I completely hope so. Guys, please let us know your score prediction in the comments for the City-Chelsea game tomorrow. Joyce, same question. Who comes in for you? Who drops out? And your score prediction?
Well, see, I don't know. I'm really nervous about this game, but also kind of excited just because I think it's going to be a very interesting tactical like Pep versus Tuchel. Like I just feel like they are both very detail obsessed and detail oriented. So I feel like it will be quite interesting to see how this plays out. I even if like I don't know, even if kind of City are playing this high line, I really don't want Werner to start. I think the front three that we had against Palace, I think they were great. So having Havertz playing, continuing that false nine role, I think he'll do quite well. And then Pulisic, like Steph said, like he does have to start. I think he's starting to peak and hit that like really good form again. Coincidentally, at the end of the season, don't know. There's a playoff joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to be the one to make it. Someone probably already has. But
Somebody make it.
like I do like obviously like we're a bit limited in terms of our midfield choices, so we'll probably have this or have Kante, Jorginho kind of play together. I think the only thing that's going to be kind of contentious is who plays the right wing back position. I think it depends whether we're trying to take the game to City or not, I think, because Reece James obviously is fantastic defensively. He offers a lot kind of defensively, and he's not too bad at taking players on one-on-one. But when we had, like in the Palace game, and I know that's a very different team to Man City, but it was really great we effectively had 4 attackers on the pitch. And that link up between Havertz and Cho, I think, was really great because he was supplying him so much. And, you know, Callum was still kind of putting in those defensive contributions. And I think sometimes with a fullback, if you have one fullback that's acting kind of more defensively in Chilwell, we've got someone like Hudson-Odoi who can kind of like push forward a bit more. And I think he did a really great job there. So I don't really know where we're going to go. I think Reece James will end up starting over Cho, and maybe we might bring him on to kind of change the game a little bit. But I do think it will be quite, I don't know, it can either be really cagey or we'll get spun. I really don't know. But I'm going to be positive and go for 2-1 Chelsea as well.
Interesting. So you guys are keeping it close. Charles, who comes in for you? Who drops out? And your score predictions, please, my love.
Mount, Havertz, Pulisic can all stay the same. I do not want Werner anywhere near us. I think if Werner starts, we're going to lose. Just saying. You know, I have some like, I don't know, like Werner needs to be saged or something so that he can actually get a goal again. But I don't need that in my team. Pulisic, Havertz, and Mount have shown that they work. Have shown that they are capable of getting goals. So I don't know why change it now. I mean, yeah, I'd keep mostly the same as how we played against Porto. Maybe a couple of changes here and there. Maybe chuck Thiago Silva in. You never know. I might be really reckless and just chuck him in. Look, I just did that. Maybe Kante could start. And put Jorginho to the bench, thanks. I'd like Hudson-Odoi to start. I really would. Chili B maybe. Chili B. But yeah, I think it's going to be 2-1 to Chelsea. I think this is going to be a game that actually tests us finally. You know, I thought Atletico would test us, but, you know, that didn't happen. I thought Porto might have tested us, but that didn't happen. I want City to test us because City have everyone underestimated City at the beginning of the season, and they came back on an absolute run of form where they were getting goals for fun. I want to face City in a test for us because if we beat City tomorrow, we're winning the FA Cup. I said it. If we're capable of beating City, we're capable of winning the FA Cup. Don't care who stands in my way. Like, as far as I'm concerned, we've beaten the current champion. Like, we've beaten champions that are like absolutely unstoppable. We're winning the FA Cup, and right now, like, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Am I a little bit nervous? I mean, there's like a tiny bit of me, but I trust in Tuchel. Everyone seems to be like, oh, it's City. Like, we're not going to get annihilated. It's not going to be a game where we just get absolutely annihilated. It's going to be very close. And I said this, it's either going to be one goal in either half, and then the second goal will be right at the very end, or we're going to have both goals in the first half, and then the final goal to decide it will be like right at the end, like 90th plus third minute, like real proper close.
Right. And your score, you said 2-1 as well, right?
2-1, yeah, literally.
Love it. Everyone's gone for 2-1. I'm going to go. I agree with Beth, actually. Beth said 1-0, and I'm not too sure which way. Hopefully it's us. But I don't think there's going to be too many goals in this game. I feel like City, they're not going to play the low block, so they're going to allow us to play as well, which is going to be good. So I think it'll be quite even in that sense. But I'm going to go for 1-0. I can see this easily going to extra time and penalties. It's usually like that when you have two really good teams. You tend to be quite close. People expect a lot of goals, but it never usually ends up that way. But before I shout all of you guys out and we sign off, question for all of you guys. Just say yes or no. Do you think we can win the Champions League?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
it's 2020. It's 2012 vibes, Joyce. It's 2012 vibes.
Come on.
Technically, we can because we are in the same.
Yes, she said yes. She said yes. He said yes. Yes. Come on.
I love it. She went with her heart. This positive energy, Joyce. I love it. It must be the brains. I love it.
Just to clarify, positive energy gets us to where we want to be. And Joyce has got all that positivity in the world. She said, yes, we're going to be positive. We're not going to have any buts, maybes. You know what? If I had to drive it out of you, cool story. But this is the positivity we're getting.
I think super cool. Right, ladies, before we get out of here, I need you guys to shout out all your socials, channels, etc., where the people can find you beautiful, lovely, talented selves. Steph, let's start with you. Shout yourself out.
Yeah, you can just find me on Twitter. It's the same name that I have here, just StephanieH_29. That's it.
Amazing. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and like beg Steph to come here and be a regular panelist with us. So hopefully she accepts, and then you can also find her on the ladies show on GNA TV too. Yay! Yeah. Joyce, tell the people where they can find you.
So you can find me here on GNA TV on a Friday with the ladies. You find me on Gold Diggers, which you can find on YouTube, and they also have a Twitter page. And my own personal socials, I'm ELJoyce_ on everything you can think of. So Twitter, Insta, Clubhouse. So yeah, just come connect with me.
And make sure you subscribe to the Gold Diggers and follow these girls on their socials, please. And last but certainly not least, Charles, tell the people where they can find your lovely self.
Yeah, this is going to take a minute. So you can find me on Bits and Bobs' channel on Tuesday at 7 on Corn on the Cobham. You can find me on here every Friday at 7 p.m. You can find me on The Offside Rule, First XI at 10 p.m. on Thursday. You can find me on The Football Terrace on Kendall's show on Friday at 9 p.m. And where else you can find me? Oh, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Strong TV, where I do a show with lambs, which is tomorrow. I don't know what time yet because I forgot the football's on. So we're going to work around that. But, you know, there's wine and football involved. Basically, we do Marvel shows on there. Prime's usually on there. Slens is usually on there.
Watch along. Well, so
Yeah, we've got watch along tomorrow as well. Check it out and make sure if you're not subscribed to GNA TV, what are you doing with your life?
please, guys, we are actually so close to that 1K mark, and all of you guys that have been like Gem, Ads, Sphere, everybody from the start have been amazing, and we cannot do it without you. So please smash a like, share the stream, subscribe if you're new, tell your mother, your brother, your sister, and your friends, please. So yes, you can find me on Instagram, on socials. You can find me here on DNA TV, of course, with Gem Ads Sphere on the Ladies Show with these lovely, lovely, lovely ladies. Beth and Sophia will be back with us next week as well, and hopefully Stephanie as well. Maybe we'll see. And yeah, on the Terrace Midnight Vibes, I do show bits and bobs as well, sometimes here and there. Monsters channel, Charles channel, Strong TV, just here, there, and everywhere, really and truly. Oh, and I've got my own channel as well. So I've just started it. Like, it's barely a week. I think after tomorrow, it's going to be a week old. So yeah, and I've got 3 videos uploaded already. So just get to following that. It's Lambs Reacts. So yeah, and you can find Gem, Ads, Sophia, Twitter, socials, everything in the description below. Thank you guys for joining us for another amazing show, ladies. It has been a goddamn pleasure once again, guys. Thank you for staying with us, and we are out.
It's like it's free time when it's free time. In the dance, they have to take a glance, we step in the room.